Hey everyone, welcome back. Today's video is going to be slightly different. First of all, hope everyone is having a great Christmas so far. As you can see, there's a bunch of keychains here. I'm still wrapping some of my Christmas present for my family and friends. So it's going to be a little bit more relaxed of a video where I'm just going to be finishing these keychains out with chains and talking about how I got to this point in my experience with making keychains with 3D printing. So one of the first things that I printed was a keychain. It was this one right here. For those of you who watch League of Legends, you'll know of the team called T1. After they won their 5th trophy, I wanted to get their merch, but it was all sold out. And this was when I first unboxed my A1 Mini, and it told me to get a Bamboo Handy app. It was the first time I realized you could print other people's designs. I thought you had to design your own things from the get-go. I was like, what if someone already made some sort of merch that I could print for myself? So I just searched up T1 on Bamboo Handy's app. Someone made the keychain and had their 5 stars symbolizing their 5-time trophies. So this was what really got me into 3D printing, because this was the first thing I printed. I got a bunch of key rings and chains on Amazon for, I think it was like $3, $4. I was really happy with this because it turned out really nicely. Fast forward, I did a bunch of different projects, from the SSD holder, mailbox, nameplate, but recently last week, I wanted to print something for gifts for Christmas. And I thought, keychains are perfect. They're easy, they're small. Recently, or this year, I've been going to the gym quite frequently, where we developed like kind of a community in there. Met a bunch of friends, which is great. And I wanted to commemorate, this year and also give them something. I started searching on Bamboo Handy. That's when these things came. They're like weight plates. It actually was an ornament before. So some guy had made something similar, but really big, essentially. With it being huge, you can't have that, right? It's too big. At this point, I've had some experience with Bamboo Studio as well as Blender. I know how to scale things and do all that sort of stuff. So I scaled this down to like a keychain size. So this is mine. I really like mine. I think it's super cute. I've already given this to some of the people in the gym and they really like it too. They've given me some thoughts on it, like suggestions on how to make it better. For example, one of my friends, Stas, he said that you should make it double-sided. I didn't know how to do that yet, but I was keen on learning how. But for now, this is where my second keychain printed, and the first one, I guess I printed straight from it. I would think if I were to do it again, I'd make it a little smaller, but this is fine. The second one, I kind of had some experience with scaling it down to make it of the size, so a little more customization. And with my third, this is actually a really interesting thing. Essentially, this is a logo for Los Ratones. It's, again, League of Legends related. I'm a big gamer. K-Drill is the biggest streamer in League of Legends right now. I've been following him religiously. I've been following his recent team that he made called Los Ratones, and I wanted to show support. At the time, he was actually doing a merch run. By the time I had decided to actually buy one, it was sold out. So basically, I couldn't get one myself. So when that had happened, I still wanted to show support in my own way, one way or another. And that's when I thought of, hey, I could make a design off of their logo, because they're a new team. They haven't had any merch ideas yet. Maybe I could make this and then they might like it. And if they do, I'd love to send them the file, whatever. But this was kind of for myself as a support for them, and also just, if they like the idea, they can have it. Yeah, that's when I came up with this. And this was actually quite difficult to make. So the first reason was learning how to export the logo. So with exporting into Blender, the hard part was learning how to change it from 2D to a 3D shape. I watched a guide on YouTube, some guy did it. So then I got the white part, which is their logo. There's a video on typography, which I've linked before. The things that I learned from that video were pretty helpful here. Changing 2D into 3D and 3D meshing and simplifying it. That's how you get a really clean logo or a clean typography out. The hard part though, I think the hardest part in this challenge was making the backing. So the gray back is not a part of their logo, but I didn't know how to offset the logo to make like a perfect shape. The way that I ended up doing it, because I actually haven't figured out how to do it on Blender, I ended up taking it to Illustrator, because I watched a separate video that said you can't take Illustrator files and put them on Blender. And Cindy really knows how to use Illustrator. So she told me you can easily do an offset on Illustrator. And if you can put that Illustrator file on Blender easily, it might be faster than trying to figure it out how to do it on Blender. So that's what I did. So you put it on Illustrator, we figured it out, and then we created this. And then the next part was just the simplest part, I think. Right after I created the offset, you know, it was making the little circle on the top. That I just measured what the other circle was from my other keychains that I have. And from then just kind of decided on what I wanted to make mine. The one thing that I will say, make sure if you're trying to do this, especially at this small scale, what you're printing is actually printable. When I printed this one, I printed it on a 0.4 nozzle size. There's some stringing in the hoop, in the keychain hoop, because it was a little too thin. So after I created this one, I thought it was a little thick. I wanted to make it a little thinner for myself. And also, I thought, wouldn't it be cool if I could do it double-sided, kind of like, instead of like, the thing that was lacking here in the Merry Lipness keychain, if I could make it double-sided, it'd be really cool, right? And it'd be a thing to learn. And making it double-sided was actually easier than I thought. So this was my first double-sided design. Both sides have the logo as much as you want to flip it, but one side you can tell, since it was my first time, it didn't go so well. There's a couple reasons why, I think. The first reason is I tried to do too much. I wanted to slim it down from the first design, right? I wanted to slim it down, and also at the same time, I wanted to make it double-sided. And I wasn't really sure how to, but basically it's pretty simple. All you did was just extrude it out to the other side, and since you don't have to mirror it in this case, it'll come out two-sided if you paint it right on Bamboo Studio. But the thing that I never had experience with was dealing with supports. And this is where supports were needed, because since you're printing it double-sided, the center, I guess, backing with the offset is actually lifted. So you have to have something to support that sort of back. At the time, I never dealt with it, so I just left everything on auto, which was clearly a mistake. So when you leave your support on auto, it actually makes it so then your supports are kind of like a grid style. And it seems really well supported, but it's really hard to take off. And the second thing is, I think it was so thin that it sort of glitched out with the other parts. If you look at the eye of the rat here, you know, it's super stringy and it's actually glitched out. And the finer details, even on the other side of the point of the mouth, it's actually shorter on the other end. I don't know how to really show that except to do this, but it's shorter. So this didn't turn out that well. One, I think because of the thickness, and two, because of the support option that I chose. And when I looked online, a lot of people decide to use tree as a support. So that's what I did for my third design. This is my third and final Los Ratones keychain design. On this camera, you can basically tell both sides look great. The one thing I will say though, on one side, you can still kind of see the supports. These are like, I think they're baked on now, but it's little compared to the other one. I think if I made it even thicker, it would help, but I wanted to try to keep it thin. And honestly, for my own personal use, this was like perfect. I was actually surprised with how much simpler printing dual-sided was than I thought. If I were to do it again, I'd definitely make it a little thicker, the white part, so then you have more gap to remove the supports, because that was still hard, like removing some of the supports since it was really low. But this was a good experience learning how to print both sides. It was super cool because what I ended up doing with this design, I put it on the Los Ratones subreddit.
I 3D printed a Los Ratones keychain.
Hey, this is something I made.
Ooh.
And Pedro, owner of the team and whatnot, he saw it.
Wait, why does that go kind of hard?
It was awesome. So that was surreal. That was actually really cool. That was really cool for me to watch his reaction. And then I saw it happen on the YouTube, on his Cadrill clips. I saw my clip there. So that was really cool to do. Since then, I've shared the design to the people in the subreddit since they were asking for the STL, and I had to figure out how to upload things to Maker's World. I wasn't sure how, but now I have figured it out. So I've uploaded this to Maker's World, and I'll probably upload the other designs that I've made onto Maker's World later if I can. I think keychains are a great way of getting into 3D printing. You know, I think a lot of people, or at least myself, I used to love accessorizing, but then I realized how expensive accessorizing is, so then I stopped accessorizing. But keychains is like the easiest way to accessorize, and with a 3D printer, they don't take a lot of filament, little fun things that you can always give to your friends if you make too much of it. I learned a lot from printing different keychains and learning how to do things in terms of like fonts and whatnot, things that I'll take into my other designs once I do more things. But I want to try learning how to make like 3D 3D stuff that maybe has a little more shape to it, like maybe like a cat or something that has actual volume to it. But yeah, that's kind of my next steps. That's what I think I'm gonna head into moving forward. Let me know if that's something that you'd like to watch. Let me know if there's anything you'd like to see in terms of, you know, brushing things up, you know, Blender tutorials or whatnot, me going through them, things that I should learn. But yeah, that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you don't know who I am, my name is Jackie. This channel is all about my journey and documentation into 3D printing, which I will have gotten into 4 weeks ago from now. This is gonna be my 4th video, and I started documenting my journey literally on my first week. So hopefully I'll create a video every week and you'll see my progression throughout the years. That's kind of the idea. But yeah, we're just trying to create a safe, fun place for people to learn more about 3D printing. So if you're into 3D printing or you want to learn more about it, this channel's for you. And for the veterans out there, thank you so much for always teaching me more and letting me know more about things that I need to improve on. We'll get to Fusion, I promise you. It'll just take a little time because I'm actually not that, you know, I'm not hating Blender. And I heard that there was also an add-on to make it a CAD. So I might be trying it first before I go on Fusion, but we'll see. Yeah, thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it, and see you next time.